Welcome on to the Huddle Up with the Huskies. We currently have Coach Evan on a camera at Washington National.
Hello, everybody. Coach Evan here. I'm down here, as Bronte said, at beautiful Washington National. The far end of the range is designated just for the University of Washington men's and women's teams. They come down here for a few hours at a time, driving down from Seattle in their vans. And they've been nice enough to let us visit today and learn a little bit about their practice routines. They're going to be getting ready for big tournament, regional tournament next week in Ohio. So this is tournament prep for them, 1 week away. In a minute, we're going to get a chance to meet everybody on the team. And then as they go around and work on different shots, we'll get some tips from them and learn how they hit their putts and chips and pitches and full swings. So thanks for joining. All right, we're getting the team together.
Cool. All right, girls. Well, welcome to the Zoom Huddle Up event. We currently have Evan and gathering the team at Washington National as we speak. Thank you all for joining us today.
Look at that squad.
That squad. We love it.
Okay, everybody, Coach Evan here. I'm here with the UW women's team, 2016 national champions, and soon to be regional champions next week, right? Outstanding team. They've been great to support us over the years, and many on the call actually have met some of these players, especially some of the upperclassmen. We've been able to do our huddle up with the Huskies every spring at Jefferson Park in person, and today's going to be actually a pretty special experience. You guys are at home and they're here practicing. We're going to get to see them practice and hit the shots as they do when they're prepping for a big tournament. So real quick, maybe starting with Courtney on our left, just introduce yourself, how long you've been with the team, and anything else you want to tell us about yourself.
My name is Courtney Jones. I'm originally from Kansas City. I started working at University of Washington as an assistant coach 2 years ago, August. So that's when I came to join and having an absolute blast working with these young ladies.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mia. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, currently a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Aditi Anand. I'm a freshman and I'm from Redmond, Washington.
Hi, I'm Reno. I'm from Japan and I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Martha. I'm from England and I'm a junior.
Hi guys, I'm Brittany. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Silverdale, Washington.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm from Shanghai, China, and I'm a freshman this year.
Hi, my name's Camille. I'm also a freshman and I'm from Shanghai.
Hi guys, my name is Wenyan. I'm a senior on the team and then excited to meet y'all.
I'm Mary Lou. I'm the head coach and I've been here 38 years. Yes, you heard that correctly.
You'd think it was her first day with all that great energy. So team, we got a big tournament next week. What's coming up?
The NCAA regionals coming up. We are going to Ohio State. There'll be 8 teams there and the top 6 move on to the national championship finals. So we leave on Friday and we play a week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days, all stroke play.
Excellent. Okay. And so, Bronte, if you can hear us, what are some of the questions we have for the group?
Well, we have a lot of questions varying from golf to non-golf related. I think a good first question to ask would be, when did you know that you wanted to be a golfer? So maybe there was an experience.
Okay, so if you guys didn't hear that, when did you know that you wanted to be a golfer, like a tournament golfer? Mm-hmm. Anybody want to answer that one? How old were you and kind of what was it that made you want to be a tournament golfer?
I can go. So I think around maybe 13, so the end of 8th grade, where I started really playing tournaments and practicing hard. And then once I realized that, hey, I'm pretty good, like I I can do something. Like, this is so much fun. Like, imagine if I could do this, like, for a living. That's when I really wanted to play professionally, and, competitively.
That age 13?
Yeah.
Did you play any sports before that?
Yeah, I played basketball throughout high school, but, like, it was more of a fun thing for me to do, and I found a good balance between, having golf competitively and then doing something else for fun.
Cool. Anybody else? Who else played other sports before golf? Okay. Aditi, what sport did you play other than golf?
Well, when I was young, I tried to play like a lot of different kinds of sports. So like I did soccer, tennis. I even tried swimming, but I was all right at that. But I just really like golf. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. Bronte, do we have another question for the group?
Oh, yes, of course. Let's see. When you're not on the course, do you do any practice at home? And if so, what? You hear that?
Okay, so if you guys didn't hear, when you're not here or at a golf course, do you practice at home, maybe in your dorm or wherever you live? And how?
So I personally think putting is one of the most important aspects of the game because at the end, it all comes back down to making the putt or not. So I usually put up like a mat in my dorm and then practice my stroke because I think fundamentals is just really important. And that's something that you can work on away from the golf course. And I just think it really helps grow my own game.
Cool. Putting at home. Anybody else? Do we do any chipping or full swing at home?
We chipped into a bucket once. When COVID first hit, we had like these little bins in our apartment. And we were chipping into the bucket, but it got kind of dangerous, so we had to stop.
Gotta get creative during COVID for sure. Well, it's nice that we can actually get back outside and use this practice facility. Any questions, Bronte? Any others?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Keep going with this. This one is from Sophia Tunalum. What are the different routines that the team members go through when they practice? So do you guys have different routines than each other, or are you all very similar? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good question. So I was kind of asking about this too. When you're down here practicing, does everybody have the same practice routine or are they different? And maybe even for yourself, is it the same every time you come down here?
Usually we mix it up. We'll do like half of the practice session, coaches will organize like a drill for us, and then the other half we can work on specific things like individually that we want to do. So we usually do like different things, but then we'll all come together and work on one drill for the second half. Yeah, practice.
Cool. Okay. Does anyone's routine change from week to week, or maybe based on how they've been playing recently? Yeah. Does anybody raise your hand if you're working mostly on putting right now? Okay. All right. How about chipping and pitching? Okay. That one too. Okay. Iron play. Okay. All right. And driving. All right. So maybe that means we're a pretty confident driving team. All right. Excellent. Next question, Bronte.
This is from Candace. How often do you guys practice every week?
So how often do we practice? Maybe formal practice, even if you're putting at home, just consider maybe coming down here, going to one of the other courses.
Practice every day except for weekday, and then on the weekends we'll have sundown usually. But then as a team, we all usually like off days. So we'll either like come here if there's a range or our golf center.
Okay, so you practice every day but 2 days, but then on those 2 days you still practice.
Sometimes.
I need rest.
Okay, Coach, tell us about rest.
Well, it's really important, and getting enough sleep, hydrating, all those things. What they do is it's fun, but it's a lot. And so you do try to make sure that they get enough rest, but we can't be with them 24/7. So we have to kind of rely on their responsibility as a person and a teammate, and they're really good about it. I would say for the most part, we haven't had many issues. It's, you don't stay up all night if you have a 6 a.m. flight and things like that. That just will wipe your body out. So they're pretty good about getting rest, but they've also got homework to do, and so they got a lot on their plate.
Yeah, Bronte, I think we had a question about kind of being a student athlete and how to balance just time schedule, because when you're practicing 5 days a week plus and traveling at times, raise your hand if you feel like you have that balance mastered with. Okay, good. But is that the lower underclassmen have an easier time or harder?
Because right now it's COVID and everything's online. It's actually a lot easier for us to balance school and golf because we all have online classes. We just have to keep up with homework, and we don't have to go to in-person classes and wake up really early in the morning. So I would say it was a nice first year to experience it like this, just to get used to that.
Okay, so a few votes for the team on keeping virtual classes going after COVID. But that is a big challenge for student athletes, especially playing at your level. Bronte, another question for us?
What are you guys planning to do after you graduate?
So maybe first, show of hands, who would like to play professionally after you graduate? Okay, so maybe those who did not raise their hand, what would you like to do after you graduate from University of Washington?
So I'm going to graduate school after graduating from UW, and then I'm moving to New York City, going to Columbia University, studying epidemiology, and then I really appreciate the experience of being a student athlete because I was able to learn a lot of different skill sets during this time, and then it really helped me with the application and helped me transition to a different phase of my life. So I think being a student athlete is highly is a very good experience, and it trains a lot of my mind and my body. Yeah.
Wow. Well, if we've learned anything in the last year, we need more epidemiologists in the world. So
Sure.
thanks for helping us out, and congratulations. Anybody else? What do you plan on doing if it's not trying to go on tour?
I'm thinking about going to grad school because I'm a junior, so I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, but I'm pretty sure that I want to work in like the public sector or like an NGO and something that can have some change on the bad things in the world. So we'll see though. Yeah.
All right. Force for good. Cool. Next question, Bronte.
Do you feel like the amount of golf you played changed during COVID? If so, more practice time or less practice time?
Yeah, I was curious actually when Mary Lou was talking about rest. Did you feel like you had maybe a little bit too much rest during COVID? So how did you maintain your practice routines, and what did those look like besides chipping into a bucket?
I can take that. I was actually back home in Japan, and there were some few months that I actually couldn't go outside, where I just couldn't go to the range or course. And it's actually hard to play golf in your house when you live in just like a small living room. But I spent a lot of time taking care of my body, not in like a sleeping or like a resting way, but more in like workouts and stretching and eating healthy food and having those like healthy cycle of waking up in the same time and having the meals at the same time and hydrating throughout the day. And that really gave me a good habit of healthier life, and I'm bringing that here and I'm translating that, and it feels better than 2 years before that I'm here.
Wow, so it was maybe tough during the time, but you learned some skills that you can translate back now. That's great. Routines and staying healthy and balanced. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay, and raise your hand if it was frustrating during COVID not being able to play and practice as much as usual. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. Okay, Bronte, next question.
How do you get through bad days on the golf course or off the golf course?
All right. Let's start with on the course.
Yeah.
When you're having a bad day for whatever reason, maybe you're not playing well, or it's just you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. How do you make it through the round or the tournament?
I'd say that it takes a long time to learn what works for you, and each day is different. But coaches always say how important it is to stay in the present moment. And it's hard to do when you're out there, but we're all working on it. And it really can make a difference. And just coach always says, like, you know, no one's dying. Like, you're not going to die if you make a bogey. So I think we try and stay more lighthearted about it and have fun instead of stressing ourselves out.
Kind of putting things in perspective.
Yeah.
And I think when we do have a bad day out on the course, you have to remember that it was just a bad day, that doesn't represent the game that you're playing and how skilled and how talented you are. So I think it's important to just move on from it and remember all the good stuff that you did beforehand, just to keep yourself confident and in the momentum instead of letting it get to you.
Cool. And you all spend so much time playing golf and practicing, but what about off the course? You know, having a bad day, maybe, you know, in virtual class or regular class in your personal lives.
Yeah, I think one thing that really helped me during like having a bad day is having a growth mindset, knowing that everything I'm doing is a process of being a better self, and it's a becoming process, not being somebody that's, you know, you are judging too hard on yourself, or you are, you know, frustrating with an outcome that you cannot control. So I feel like, you know, being more gentle, more kind to yourself, and knowing that everything you do is for a reason, and then you will get the most out of it at the end of the day. It's very important. So just, yeah.
That's great. The growth mindset. Awesome. Hey, Bronte, how about 2 more questions?
More questions? All right. With the benefit of hindsight, if you started your golfing career all over again, what would you do differently?
Ooh. Ooh. That got him thinking.
So I think for me, I'd really just tell my younger self to enjoy it as much as you can, because you're never going to have that experience of playing junior golf again. Like, you meet amazing people, you make so many friends, and junior golf is a really fun experience. And if I were to go back in time, I just enjoy it more, because I think I got too focused in what I was scoring, how I was playing. I didn't really get a chance to enjoy myself, and I would definitely go back and do that.
Wow. Okay. That's great advice. We have the girls on the call and who will watch this who are all playing junior golf right now, and so play their best, but definitely enjoy it. Like, if you could do something differently as you're growing up in the game.
Or like what you should define the way you see yourself, like being able to separate who you are from what you score, or like your hard work that you put in from what you score. So yeah, making sure you like hold your self-confidence.
Yeah.
It's about something you do. It's not who you are. You know, it doesn't define you, and that's a hard one. You know, because everybody wants to play well and do well, and you know, a number's a number. And we also try to encourage them to talk to yourself the way you talk to your teammates. If something doesn't go your way, you're not going to call your teammate, "What'd you do that for?" You know, you're not. And so having your self-talk be more positive, and like you said, being kind to yourself, and just learning from it and moving on.
Something you do, not who you are. I like that. Okay. Great feedback. Bronson, one more question for us before we start hitting some shots.
This will be a fun one. What is your, oh, wait, never mind, we have one. What is the weirdest experience you've had on the golf course? Maybe with an animal.
Maybe with an animal. Okay, with or without the animal, what's the weirdest?
I had one with a dog. I was playing in a tournament. I think it was the under 16s north of England. And I was on like the 14th hole, and this dog just came and picked up my ball and just like ran off into the out of bounds. And then the ref had to come, and it was just a big drama. But I think I just put the ball back and just played on. It was no penalty, which I was thankful for.
Did the dog keep the ball?
No, I got it back, but it had some teeth marks in it, so I had to change it next hole.
One time I was playing in a tournament, and there were pedestrians walking by, and one of them just decided to pick up my ball, and then they realized that we were like in a tournament, like actually playing, so then he like put it back on the green, and like obviously like again like there's no penalty. That was kind of like my weirdest experience.
That's weird.
People are messing with our golf balls. Any other weird experiences? Strange.
I have a tragic story of when I was maybe 13. I was playing a practice round and I'll just call it a stinger. And it unfortunately hit a bird and split it in half.
Oh! That's tragic.
It's very tragic.
And then there were two birds. Well, now you have a different way of getting birdies out there, hopefully. All right. There you go. All right. Well, we're going to transition into our practice. Before we do, tell us maybe about this space where we are and what you like about it. What is unique about this practice area at Washington National, and what might be advantageous to another place you might practice?
I think one of the best parts is that it's so like there's so much you can do here, and no one but like the golf team comes here, so there's lots of room that you can use to work on your game that you wouldn't really get at like another practice facility. So you can set up different shots, things like that.
Mary Lou, you'd mentioned that sometimes they'll even maintain the course or prepare it in a way that mimics the course you're about to play in terms of green speeds and things like that.
Yeah, they can do that. We're in the process of changing grasses, so it's been a little trickier this year. But yeah, I mean, we can tell them to grow the grass a certain length, put certain type of sand in the bunkers. The nice part, I think, for them is they can come dressed however they want. They can turn on music and, things that you can't do when we're at a golf course, a private golf course, or any golf course for that matter. So it's a little, we can have some more fun that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do on the course. And it's like Aditi said, we're the only ones that can use it. So it's basically been built for 20 people and that's it. Yeah.
Mary Lou, did you listen to music on the golf course when you were a young golfer?
Well, they didn't have headphones. Nope, didn't have them.
The boombox, maybe.
No, yeah, that was late in my career.
All right. Well, it's time to maybe make use of this practice area. So we're going to let the team kind of divide up into their areas and we'll follow them around as they hit their shots. So thank you all so much for your responses to the questions, and let's see you do your thing.
I didn't know.
I actually knocked it out of the air. I was driving, knocked it out of the air.
Oh yeah.
That's a good comment.
That's now
Spirit in the background.
Yeah, that's her name all the time. So you'll notice, like, when he has down an alignment stick. So a lot of times if they're working on something specific, you can see them sitting in their bags. So if they want to really focus on something specific in their alignment, then they can go ahead and pull those out, and they're, you put them down kind of like railroad tracks, or you put one down where Winnie is there. It helps you make sure that your body and the ball are aimed where you want it to go.
I had to point out the divot patterns before. The strips are just very tour, but it also it's good. It's good for the turf.
Yeah, it is. And they'll bring out buckets of sand and seed. We like to do our share to take care of it. But I mean, there's so much, we don't even have a range per se. They just can hit balls from wherever they'd like. So, which I like, because when you're playing, the ball can be anywhere off of any kind of line. So it's easy. They can, run up and hit it in the rough or whatever they'd like to do. Oh, I like that, Camille.
We're going to let these full swing players warm up a little bit, and we're going to come back to them. But Camille is dialed in here on the pitch
Camille got
shots.
some new wedges, so she's kind of checking them out and seeing how she likes them. And they seem to agree with her. As you can see by the dispersion.
Maybe on the front.
Camille, what kind of shot are we hitting here?
I'm hitting like a higher chip. So I'm just trying to land it right onto the front of the green with a little more spin. That way it doesn't roll out too much. So yeah, I just keep the ball like a little forward in my stance so it can help get the club under and help it go a little bit higher. And then it just comes out with a little more spin. That way you can control how far it rolls.
So you said a little forward in your stance.
And lay the club open. That way you can get under it. So like this would be the normal stance. And if you want to hit a higher shot, you can just put the ball forward in your stance, put the club a little more open. And that helps you get under it. Like a little more spin.
And you don't take much of a divot here.
No, I just try to use the bounce of the club. So this part of the club to just get really underneath the ball and just glide it under. So it just kind of scoops it up with more spin. That. And it should just come out really soft and shouldn't roll out much.
Very nice. I'm gonna get the reaction to this shot on the green to see what you're talking about with the spin. That was pretty good. Just for an idea of how close she's getting these, all tap ins. Very nice, Camille. Martha, we're working on maybe a slightly different type of shot here.
Yeah, it's like a chip and run. So I feel like a lot of times chip and runs get overlooked is important, but they're a great staple that you want to have in your bag. So that when you, because if you are aiming for it, you know, if you have like a tuck flag, you don't necessarily want to go for it. So you want to miss on the fat side so you have more green to work with for your chipping, because it's a lot easier. And if you have a chip like this, where you have maybe like 25 yards of green, you want to use like a 9-iron or like an 8-iron, because they're a lot more consistent and they won't spin up as much, and you can just kind of like tap it onto the front of the green and then it goes next to the hole, so it's kind of easy. Yeah.
So you have a 9-iron there?
Yeah. So it's more straightforward than necessarily having like a high shot that you have to control the spin. For a longer one, it's harder, so it's easier. Yeah.
Oh, she just made it.
Just like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good shot to have in your bag. I recommend it.
The great players are even better under pressure.
And even if you don't necessarily strike it that well, it still goes the same. Whereas if you wanted to use like say if you use like a 56 here, but you slightly duffed it, you know, it would go like 4 yards. But if you slightly duff your 9-iron, you know, you'll have like an 8-foot putt for par, which is what you want, I guess, for a bad trip. Yeah.
I hope everybody's taking notes on that. Talking dispersion patterns.
Yeah.
And what she's saying is if you chose a 56, you could get it close to the hole, but your misses are going to be much farther. Whereas the 9-iron, the chip and run, or the bump and run, they'll all be relatively close to the hole even when you miss it. Thank you, Martha. You got that one.
Yep.
On lock. We're going to head over here. Got some putting happening. Brittany's working on some mid-range putts.
Hey guys.
This is what sometimes referred to as the gate drill.
Yeah, I call it the gate drill. I feel like this is really good if you want to just work on like your path and making like good contact with the ball, because like obviously it kind of helps you get the right path if you kind of work on that. Yeah.
Out here and not when you're playing. You know, when you're playing, it's just that, playing the game, and you're not worried about drills and that kind of stuff. You've done all your work, now go play and have fun.
So Brittany, how far is this putt would you estimate?
I would say this is about 10 feet, 10 to 12 feet.
And in practice, how many of these would you expect to make?
In practice, like on the golf course?
Here, actually,
right
when
here? Let's say like out of 10, I probably expect to make about like 6 to 7.
And is that the same when you're playing in a tournament? Would you expect to make that many?
Not as much, honestly. Yeah, I guess just like, I think for me, it's like having a higher goal set for myself during practice kind of translate to like working better for me on the course. So yeah.
You can all hear the sound of the ball going in the cup. Something we missed during COVID. Just like that. Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah.
All right, we're over here in the stinger zone.
Yeah, so here I'm just really working on my green reading, because I think that's another really important skill set, especially if we're playing tournaments all the time. And it's something that I think just builds up over time. So during practice, we just place the ball and maybe pretend like you're out on the course, just to make sure you can read the grains well, and practice the compatibility with your speed and your line.
So by hitting putts from 360 degrees around the hole, you see all the different break combinations, right?
Because when we're playing tournaments, we have these putt view books that tell us the grain and the slopes of the greens, and it's important to be able to read those in order to make your putt, because not every slope is the same. Sometimes they're 2 degrees, sometimes they're 1 degree, and it really affects how much the ball breaks.
So how far is that putt that you're hitting?
I'd say that was about 5 feet, and I think there's quite a bit of these, and I would expect to make all of them when I'm out on the course, just because I think these make up a lot of your par putts, and if you miss them, they cost you a lot out on the course.
Or the birdie putts on a good ball striking day.
And when you're doing these drills, I would recommend going through your full routine as if you were out on the course, just to replicate that feeling and that feeling in your head.
Stephanie, is your routine the same on all distance putts and all putts?
I wouldn't say so. I think for these shorter putts, I wouldn't necessarily go through a practice putt because I know what speed I want it to go into. But if I were like maybe 30 feet out, I would definitely look at the hole and then I would take a few practice strokes just to get a sense of the speed.
Because on this one, you're worried less about speed and more about the line.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever missed one?
Oh, plenty. That's why I'm working on these.
That's actually a good lesson there. A putter who appears to be as good as anybody on the planet has still missed putts and still practices, if not more than the rest of us. So thanks, Stephanie.
Hello.
All right. Wenyan, what are we working on here?
So I'm working on my speed control with some longer putts. So like on a golf course, you know, if you're not having a good iron day, you will always face like a 30 feet or 20 feet or more putting, whether it's for birdie or for par or stuff like that. So, and our team, we also do a lot of speed control practice, and I think it is very important if you want to have a good score. Like if you putt the first putt close to the hole, you'll have less stress. On the second putt, you can just tap it in. However, if you putt it that's like 5 feet away, then you still need to struggle to make the next putt. So I feel like if you putt the first putt well, you have less stress for the following putt. Yes, and then some drills I like to do is like right hand only. So everyone is different. When I putt, I try to feel my right arms a lot, so I can feel the speed. So sometimes when I practice, I will do some both hand and then right hand only, just to feel the speed. Okay. And then some of this I will go through my full routine, and some of them I'll just putt with the feeling. I'll show my right hand only. So I'll just do some practice swing, feel the speed, and then so I will always like hold the finish to see the ball, visualize it going to the hole or going near the hole, and then for my final part, I'm gonna use my both hand just to see where I go. So like for me, like after a few single right arm only practice, I feel like I can get the speed better. So this is also a drill that I use a lot before I go to a tournament, just to adapt the swing speed there, and to have more confidence in my leg putting.
So did you say you practice with one arm and then the other arm, or does one more than the other?
If I practice the left arm, my club face get really like open and close. It's not too steady for me, so I stick with the right arm only. But I know like player like Tiger Woods, Hideki Matsuyama, like they do both hands. So they do right hand only, left hand only, and then they do both arms. So it really depends on your own stroke and then your preference. Yeah. So that's you need to find your own way of practicing putting because it's very feeling based, and then you should find your own best way to do it.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've had distance and speed. We've had putting from all around the hole and working on routines from the putts we would like to make close to 100% of the time. And we've had solid contact through the gates. She's working on a little break on that putt. On a mid-range putt, one that we would make maybe most of the time, but maybe not all of them, a little outside that range.
Brittany and I were just talking about school and making sure that she's got things taken care of before we travel. And knowing that we'll have some study time later on. She said her load is pretty reasonable, so no exams to make up or anything like that. So she can concentrate on doing that.
Mary Lou, your team has always done well academically. Is that a trait that you look for or a qualification in players coming in?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, UW's not an easy school. And if you're going to play a sport, you have to be able to manage the academics as well. And so we do look for kids that are better students. And there's no question about it. We have had a lot of success. I think the last 3 or 4 or 5 quarters in a row, our team GPA has been like 3.7 plus, which is really exceptional. And I think all but one team in the entire department has like above a 3 point, which is pretty spectacular with all that they have going on and the caliber of school that they attend. So, yeah, and they have tutoring if they need it, and we can get them help if they need it. There are writing labs, there's tutors, they have learning specialists if there's a particular challenge. So they have a lot of resources, and our job is just to make sure that they use the ones that they need and make sure that they're getting their work done. But we don't really have to nag them about that. They're pretty darn good about it.
And do they help boost each other too? I'm sure.
Yeah, it does get a little competitive, which is good. That's what you want. And then you have somebody like Wen Yan, who's going to grad school at Columbia. We all were online watching her capstone project. It was so cool. I mean, it just so proud of her and what she's done. And, you know, it's she's not going to play golf, but she can play golf the rest of her life if she wants to. And but it gave her some avenues that maybe she wouldn't otherwise have. So super proud of her, what she's doing. I'm like a mom. I just can't believe she's going off to grad school in epidemiology, you know, especially now, like you said, in COVID times. We need that.
I meant to ask her if that was a decision. It sounds like on her course she made even before the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, she wants to make a difference in health, in people's health and safety. And that's always kind of been her goal. And she kind of found her niche, so to speak, that she really likes, and she's good at it. And as you can see, she's got a way with people. So she's a perfect fit for something like that.
Cool. Yeah. All right, we're going to go meet up with some of the players on the driving range here. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, we've seen some chipping, some pitching, some putting. I've got players making full swings here on the driving range. Got Winnie, Aditi, Reno. We'll start with our senior here. It is perfect, just like the rest of them. Reno, what club are we hitting here?
This is a 4-iron.
And how far do you hit your 4-iron?
170.
170 yards. Okay.
Yep.
And what's your typical shot shape?
I want to say draw, but then I'm working on shaping my shots right now. So I'm trying not to hit as many draw because I know I can do that. I'd rather get used to more of a fade. It's been tough.
And is that what you're working on today?
Kind of, but then at the same time, I wouldn't do just that. My drill right now is to stay my right foot through the impact because I go up quite fast. And while I'm doing that drill, I try to hit one draw and then one fade, one draw, one fade, so that I can actually use in the tournament versus if I'm just doing the drills. I do that in off season. I do more of an applicable drill off season, if that makes sense. Kind of make sure that I hit one of the not super nicer holes for the drills, and then hit nicer on the actual full shot so that I feel good. That's like a tip I've been using since I was like 10. Next week feel better.
Draw first, then a fade. And what Reno's talking about is the quality of the range balls that we hit sometimes varies. You got some nice shiny ones.
Yeah.
Got some that are maybe just a little bit more dinged up and rounded.
It's been serving the range well.
For the most part, pretty good. But you said you saved the good ones for when you're working on the drill, right?
Opposite. Like I use them for drills because I don't really care how it goes. I'm just doing the drill to get myself like my body used to the swing. First, after the drill, when I want to see the actual results of my shapes, I use a good ball so I can actually see the results.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Process versus outcome.
Yeah. I don't really recommend doing drills with 4-iron. I think I would do it like 7-iron.
There was a question about are purple grips required, but I see that you have the blues,
Yeah.
the blue and the blacks.
I think
There's some flexibility on grip color. Huh?
Preference for sure. I think one story I can share with how you choose your grips, color wise. Color, I don't know if you believe in it. Color makes you feel different in each color. Like blue makes you a little more calmer. It calms you down. Blue, green, those colors calm you down. Versus red, it motivates you. Like it really brings you up. Like red, orange, yellow, those happy colors. I choose blue, greenish color often so that I keep calm and neutral and not super reactive on the golf course. And I think it's working for me. I'm starting to learn how to be more under control of myself.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
When did you make that decision or come to that realization?
Some guy back home who does all my clubs, he told me those stories, and it works for some people, it doesn't, but it's worth a try, and it did work for me. Hopefully it does for some other people, but yeah, those are some off topics that you can kind of choose.
Yeah. Well, so far we've seen you mix the draws and the fades.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. Aditi, what club are we hitting?
I'm hitting 3-wood right now.
And are you working on anything specific?
I was working on my swing a little bit, but now I'm just kind of working on some target practice, and like a little bit of shot shaping, just like starting it in maybe that tree and then ending it at that blue pole. Yeah, and just like measuring distances so that I'm landing it right.
The tree to the blue pole is
Like a slight fade.
just a slight fade. Okay. And how far do you hit your 3-wood?
I hit my 3-wood around like 210, 215 right now.
And you're hitting them off the ground.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I don't really tee off with a 3-wood, so I kind of only hit them on par 5, stuff like that. Maybe a really long par 3. That one a little bit. But
Left side of the fairway.
yeah.
birdie putt.
So then I usually like to spend like a couple of my target shots after I work on my swing. So if I have like an hour to practice on the range, I'll do maybe like 25, 30 minutes on my swing and stuff like that. And then I'll go into the clubs that I know I'm going to hit in the next couple of days. So like if I have a lot of short irons on the course, I'll work on target practicing my short irons just so I feel like really confident with those clubs.
Stinger.
No, that's good.
That name is taken. All right, we only have a few minutes left. We're here with Winnie.
Hello.
Winnie, what club are we hitting?
I'm using a 7-iron.
7.
So normally, so I just recently received my whole PhD set. So normally, if I want to try and work on and get a few of the cards, so we use like around 8 or 7-iron. Just and then for today, we'll be here for not a long time. So I'll just like hit a few shots and then try and feel the clubs, and then I'll move on to short game, because mainly when I'm here, we have so much space and like different type of short game condition we can work on. So I'll always spend more time playing the short game, and then during the weekends I'll go to the driving range near campus where I can spend more hours doing my drills, like my actual drills. So yeah.
Okay, and I see you have an alignment stick down.
Yeah, because I tend to pull a few shots in the course, so I'm trying to work on not being too over the top, and then like at the same time being aligned to my target. And then I noticed my putt is going a bit right, so I'm getting shallower. So I feel like it's okay because I want to hit a push draw, so that may also eliminate my pull.
Okay, we're going to need a golf glossary for some of these terms that Winnie has mentioned. We'll talk about those later. Push draw, pull, shallow. Some great terms for higher level golfers. If you don't know what those mean, that's okay. We will talk about those in a future lesson, or you can look them up. But here she goes with her 7-iron. I don't know if you can hear that ball just sizzle off the club face. What was that shot shape, Winnie?
Push draw.
Push draw. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the one you're looking for, right?
Yeah. So everyone have their own desired or like natural shot shape. For me, I know my drives kind of go a bit fading, but my irons currently I'm following, but I'm working on doing push draw. But it's just like maybe like 2 to 4 degrees, not much.
2 to 4 degrees.
So
Okay.
like half inside, less than 4 degrees.
Not much room for error.
Yeah, I feel like that. I aim for more accuracy than distance, because push draw, if you do it more, I feel like you gain distance. But for me, I just want like accuracy where I can confidently aim at a certain area and knowing that it's gonna draw back, or like sometimes for now I'll pull back to the same area.
That was maybe 1 degree. Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you.
All right, we have now made it all the way around. Met all the players, seen their practice routines. You can see they have fully dispersed to their own areas here at Washington National. Team, we're signing off. Thank you. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Bronte, I'm going to hand it back to you to close us up.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you to Coach Evan and all the girls of the UW golf team for showing us a thing or two about the golf swing. I hope you girls learned a tip or two. I know I did. And you girls all had excellent questions. Thank you so much for all those questions. Very on point. I think my favorite is, what is the weirdest experience you ever had while playing golf? That's my favorite one. That's the best one. But yeah, so that is our call, girls. And we will also have a recording of this that we'll share with all of the girls golf people. So if you want to rewatch it for any reason, you certainly can. But yeah, thanks for repping your purple and gold today. Did everyone have fun? I hope you guys all did. Got a lot of thank yous in the chat, so I think everyone had fun. So yeah, and if you aspire to be like these girls, my saying is just practice, practice, practice. Practice, 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 and practice effectively and efficiently. So anyways, that is all, girls. Thank you for joining. Feel free to sign off when you're ready. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, girls.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. So courteous.
Bye. Thank you.
Dog on three. 1, 2, 3. Dogs!